Today you read about the geologic column, and the geologic column was actually originally compiled by creationists, and the purpose of it was to try to recognize the different layers of rock that they were seeing. All of the dates with that column were actually added by other scientists much later on. Now, what you need to understand about fossil formation is that there are very specific conditions under which a fossil is going to form. If an animal just dies, most likely it is not going to form a fossil. I mean, if you think about an animal that dies and just is laying on the surface of the earth, they're going to be it's going to decay. There's going to be scavengers that are going to come and eat that animal. It's not going to keep it's not going to make a good fossil. And so in order for fossils to form, the plant or the animal has to be buried quickly, and it has to be buried deeply so that scavengers can't get to it, and it has to be buried in mineral-rich sediment, because when it's buried in mineral-rich sediment, the minerals in the water will then crystallize in the pore spaces in the creature, and it will turn to stone before it has time to decay. So if you think about a jellyfish, jellyfish don't have bones, but they will form fossils, just like if you place your hand in wet concrete, you can leave a handprint in it. And so a jellyfish can turn into a fossil in about 24 hours. And so, in fact, most rock formation is very, very rapid, just like when concrete sets. Ideal conditions for fossils to form are actually flood conditions. And evolutionists and creationists agree that flood conditions are ideal for fossil formation. The point of disagreement between evolutionists and creationists is, was it a whole bunch of little floods, or is it one great big flood? If it was one great big worldwide flood, like Noah's flood, the creatures that would have been buried first would have been the lowest heavy-shelled bottom-dwelling creatures on the bottom. Then you would get the forms that live near the shore, or any animals that would swim. Then you would get the lowland plants and animals that would get buried. And then you would get all the animals that live upland. All those plants and animals would be buried last. And you would find sea creatures in every single layer. And actually, that is exactly what we see in the geologic column. If you have ever visited the Grand Canyon, you have likely been told that it was formed by the Colorado River eroding over millions of years. Is it possible that maybe the canyon formed first? And since the rivers or water always is going to go to the lowest possible point, maybe the canyon formed first and the river started flowing through it at a later time. Canyons can form very, very quickly with big floods. And in fact, I have you next linked to a video about Mount St Helens and what we saw happen in the days and weeks after that eruption, how quickly canyons could form. And so take a good look at that video and see how floods can definitely form those types of canyons as well.